There we go. I'm early because I was wanted to make sure things would go. And I would like to be able to get your comments on here. So we're looking to see how that's going to go. Not going to do much till 9. That's 6 minutes from now. So I'll just catch a fish maybe until then. That'd be a good way to start. Come on, man. There's 24 people there now. Okay, there it is. Thank you for live. Thanks, Ben, Dana. Morning, Terry Hagan. Good morning. Yeah. I hope this works. Be my second ever attempt at a YouTube live. I tested it a couple of days ago. Got a fish down here right away. We're still 5 minutes away from the start. Hey, Perry, Jared. Oh, man. Let me turn this down just a little bit. Quit, no. There we go. I'm sorry about this window back here. It's not sunny at all. It's very overcast and low cloud, but still it's a little bit bright, so that's gonna hope not throw things off too much. Figure I gotta have the camera right where it is. That way I can show you the Mega Live when we get to it. And I can maybe get a shot of the holes. My first effort is to not drop my phone down the hole. So if nothing else works, as long as I still have a phone in an hour, I'll be really happy. Tony, George, Kurt with a K. The ice is holding up good. George is from Indiana. Oh, Benjamin, any word on when Long Point will be letting out half tons? I get that question 10,000 times every day, and I'm not exaggerating. Long Point is very seldom before the first of the year. That's the way it is. There is no trucks around here today at all, and I'm at Long Point. At Swift Ditch, they've been letting out trucks for a while. Zipple Bay is starting today, a couple days ago, just with trucks not pulling anything. Light trucks, half tons or less. Adrian's Road, they started letting trucks out, not pulling anything, a couple just before Christmas. So a lot's going to change this weekend. I hate to give you a report saying, oh yeah, this is exactly what the deal is, because, gosh, who knows? Is there a road for wheelhouses out of Long Point? Yes, but not now. Not now. It'll be after the first of the year. All right? Me and you both, dog fart. Dustin's heading up tomorrow. Good for you. I got we're almost there. Geez, there's fish here too. So that's the big question. When can we let out trucks? When can we start pulling wheelhouses out? It varies from one part of the lake to the next. Like I said, at Long Point, it's after the first of the year. If it's before then, it'd be a big surprise, all right? 8:58. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas. A lot of people traveling. I might talk about the weather first thing. We'll do that in a couple of minutes. How many feet of water today? I am in 27 feet still. We started off in 20. We got across our crack and stood up there, and that was 19, 20 feet, and stayed there for only a couple of days. As soon as we get out here to deeper water, where there was, I'm on 20 inches of ice right here, but that's an anomaly. There's not that much ice around. There's some sheet ice where I am. Ooh, come on up, buddy. Come on up. So figure 15 inches. Now, we've got a crack halfway out here, and everyone over here is dealing with that same crack. A very long crack. And it came together in that cold snap and has been real good, but the ice just isn't getting thick there. It was 10 inches of ice like last Saturday. And then Tuesday I tried it again, still 10 inches of ice. I'm not sure why that is. So you need more than 10 inches of ice, maybe not to run one truck or a track machine on, but to run 100 on, you need more than 10 inches. So that's why they're cautious here and smart at Long Point. But this crack is kind of what's holding me back. I'm still in the Ranger. But all right, it's 8:59. I'm going to start talking about the weather now. First of all, hi, everybody. I am Kurt Quinnell. This is the NCOR guide service. I don't ice guide anymore, but I guide in the summertime. But for ice fishing, heck, I figure I'll take my camera. Oop, I got to watch this. Merry Christmas, Ben. When do you think the snowmobile path will be open to the northwest angle? I guess it is leaving over Wheeler's Point. There's no trail here yet at Long Point. There's not, and I'm surprised by that. I thought it would be done by now, but they've got to get a big groomer out to make the trail. I would say very soon, all right? I'm using, Wayne, I'm using dead frozen shiner minnow heads on my jigging spoon and a live chub on my jig line. I've got one with just a jig on it and a blinking light, and the other's got the treble hook. Well, one of the hooks is broken off. A treble hook jigging spoon, a clam jigging spoon on the other one, and that's basically what I use. And I usually use just chubs, but I know the shiner minnows work good. My problem with the shiner minnows is here's a bag of shiner minnows. There's no way that I use that many shiner minnow heads in the course of a day ice fishing when I'm out here by myself. In a boat, I've got 2 or 3 people all working on the same bag. We go through a couple of these a day because that's all we use. But in the wintertime, I wind up taking 10 minnows out of the bag, and you can't thaw them again after you've used them once. You can't freeze them again and then thaw them again and freeze them again and thaw. They get mushy and ratty and they're just no good. So you need to have nice, clean, fresh, frozen shiner minnows, and it just doesn't work out good for me in the wintertime. I think they'd be great to use. Do you ever fish rainy in the winter? No, I don't hardly fish the rainy in the fall or the spring. What part of the lake are you? I'm coming up in a couple of weeks to Borderview North. Ooh, Borderview North. I'm at Long Point. Get out your Lake of the Woods maps, all right? And you'll find War Road on one side and Badette on the other side. And right in between the two, out in the middle of the lake, is Long Point. So the great thing about Long Point is you're really, really close to the deeper water where I fish just about all year. So you have to look at the map, but you'll find Long Point halfway between War Road and Badette. That's the way it is. Hey, Mike, Merry Christmas all the way from Birch Beach. I can see it from here, probably. It's been a very good start to the ice season here. We got some cold right away, which gave us enough ice to get out here. We had some wind as it was freezing up, so things got pretty rough. But you'd be surprised how quickly that changes. When the ice gets a little thicker, get a little snow on it. There we go. Here's a fish. I got my lines in the water at 8 o'clock this morning. I wanted to make sure. I'd been out here for a couple of days, so I wanted to check and make sure everything's all right. And this is a walleye also. I've caught 3 fish so far, and all 3 have been walleyes. How about that? I started at 8 o'clock, and then at quarter, I didn't have much going on. At a quarter after 8, I caught a 12-inch walleye, just like that one. Kurt Kynes, Long Point has day houses out now. All right. So, yes, Long Point has day houses out. You know, and it's kind of an interesting thing. They're set up further west than I would think they usually do. Heck, they went, and there's really rough ice over there. But they went and found their way through, which you can do with rough ice. Just weave through the rough stuff, don't get your trail there, and you're fine. But they've got houses almost over to Twin Islands now, and that's good fishing. Usually you just can't get there. So good job, Long Point guys, for getting people over in that direction. That spreads everything out too. So that's a 100% great idea from start to finish. And they've had their houses over there for a week. And now, if you've got a snowmobile or a side-by-side or a ATV, you can get over there, I'm sure, fine. But at Long Point, they haul you out there too. They've got a couple of really nice 4-person Rangers, a couple of them on tracks, and they haul you over there, which is great. Hey, Noah, I'm doing good. Dale says, is the fishing different from Long Point versus Wheeler's Point? Kind of new to Lake of the Woods, only second time fishing there. Dale, it's like Lake of the Woods is 3 lakes on the south side. You got the lake over at the Warroad area, that shallower water over there. Fishing's great, by the way, everywhere. But over at Warroad area, the shallower, more sand, and maybe even once you get out away from shore, a little bit more rocks. And that fishing is good. Now over towards Wheeler's Point, you get over the deal and you've got a long, big, flat area out there where just you start at 18 feet and you just keep moving out until you're 25 miles from shore. That's how they do it at Wheeler's Point. Now, Long Point, you could fish here all winter and never go out more than a mile and a half, I'm sure. They spread east to west a little bit or along the shore, which actually, if you look at the map, is north and south, but east and west for figuring sake. And that's what you do. You just move out to the end of everybody and then move out a little bit to stay away from people as good as you can. And that's how you fish all winter. So everyone likes to say their part of the lake is the best. I think Lake of the Woods or Long Point has some great things going for it. But so does everywhere else. It's a little bit different, but you fish it the same. It's just a little different conditions. Here at Long Point, it's deeper, quicker, and there's some more rocks around. There's rocks in close. A lot of small reefs that you don't necessarily want to be up onto, but if you're a rock fisherman, go ahead, you know. But fishing next to these, up to a quarter mile away from a reef, seems like it's just as good as being on the reef sometimes. So if I miss your question or your comment, I'm sorry. I think I'm going to catch another fish here pretty soon. Hey, William, thank you. Skoll, Minnesota Gadsden. Did I do that right? Morning, Paul. 115 people here. This is my first YouTube live. You know, if you watch that last video I did, I had a big northern on right below the ice. And then I had a whole bunch more fish just slashing away at my baits right below the ice within a foot or two, which you can see with the Mega Live. Well, they're here again today, but a buddy of mine, Lynn Hammer, said they were doing the same thing. He reached up on one, and it was a tulipy. And that makes sense. So I think the tulipies are bunched up right underneath the ice, and I got no bait. Helps to have bait on. I can show you my rig here after I get baited up, right? So I've got these fish right underneath the ice. It's surprising you'd see them on the Mega Live. Okay. Little pink tungsten jig, about a 6-inch dropper to my blinking light lure. Let's see if I can get this going for you. It blinks more on the backside here. You can see that blinking. So I'm getting some fish. The best time for fishing has been 9 o'clock to 11. Don't know if I ever finished the thought, but at a quarter after I caught my first fish after starting with lines in the water at 8 o'clock. It was still dark. Not as dark as I thought it would be. And at a quarter after I caught a first fish, it was a 12-inch walleye. Then 5 minutes later, big fish coming underneath, just down underneath the ice. I reeled up on that one. He came and bit it right away. It was a 19.5-inch walleye exactly. So I measured that a couple of times and back down the hole he went. So that was good. And then I've had fish in and out. And the next fish I caught we saw here, and that was another small one. But there's fish all up and down the water column. Now, I've been fishing with Mega Live this is my third winter with it, and I've never seen so many fish bunching up underneath the holes before, and that's fun. Okay. Oop. What do you go to? Colors for Lake of the Woods? Pink, chartreuse, orange. I don't use gold, but people say gold is good, and I believe them. But I like pink, orange, chartreuse. Okay, Dale. Thanks for being here. Where do you get the blinking eye lights? Okay, here we go. I'm going to catch a fish. Maybe we're talking about this. I've got more information on this. There's a couple of, maybe there's two that I know of, companies that are making these blinking light lures. They're getting the blinking lights and they're rigging them for you. They're putting a treble hook on or something else. And one of those is what's this? We got a much nicer fish over on the other line. I'm going to let this hang here for a second. I get this nicer fish to come back. Come on back. Well, okay, I'll get this one up. Good, he let go. I had a nice big fish coming through, and a little one came up and bit the other line. But that bigger fish just kept on going. All right, B&E Tackle. You look, B&ETackle.com. The N is the N. So it's B-N-E, not B and E. It's B-N-E. And they make a good one. They make a lot of other things with lights in them. So their website might be confusing at first for you, but they're in there. And there's another bait called the Dirty Bomb, which I have no idea what that is, but that's just a blinking light lure, and they tied a treble hook right underneath it, right? They used the split ring and hung a treble hook there. That's the Dirty Bomb. But you can go on Amazon and just search in Amazon blinking light lures. And if I was better at this, maybe I could put it up here on the screen for, but I don't know how to do that now. But you'll get 20 of them for $26. Those are the ones that you want. And then you tie your own. You got to get a couple of swivels, and you've got to have some snaps. And like I said on this one, 4 to 6 inches of mono in between the two. And so I use the B&E Tackle, so I appreciate that. And if you want to get fancy and make your own, you can get them on Amazon. That's where you get the blinking lights. If there's a knock on the blinking lights, which I'm not here to knock because they're very good. I've through the course of the day lost a blinking light or just switched up for something, and it seems like we still catch without the blinking light. So I don't think that it's mandatory. But since we started using them last winter, they seldom fail. Now I've got one of my two blinking lights, this one here on my left hand, I don't think is blinking too much anymore. And I've had ones that didn't blink at all. But if they quit blinking, it's like a flasher then. It's an attractor. So even on there is good. What's that website again? Okay, it's BNE Tackle.com. Oh, I've got a fish on me again. Come on, man. Coming up on this one. Well, I thought it was a giant, but it's not. I use the word giant a lot, talking about fish. You're welcome, Danny. I appreciate it. So for those of you who don't know me, and I suppose there's a lot of people who don't, for 20 years I did a radio show about fishing on Lake of the Woods. Well, I retired from radio and moved up here, and I had my way of getting the information out was gone. So I used Facebook and Facebook Live, and I started the YouTube channel. So my videos are maybe a little bit different from other videos that you'll see. is they're mostly just a Lake of the Woods report. Morning tree trestle, that's fun. And laser beam, good morning to you. Yeah, I'm in the boat or in the fish house. I'm fishing and I share the information that I know about from that week. Come on, man, he's right there. There he goes. Well, I'm sure I lost my bait there. I lost both my baits. And that's just one fish down there. He was really aggressive. He didn't look big, but... All right, here's the other one. Here's the other line. Blinking light, all right? And below it is that clam jigging spoon. Jigging spoons are great. I really don't think it matters too much which one you use. All right? Everyone's got their favorites. I know that Northland Tackle buckshot rattled spoon is huge. What's going on here? And that's a good one. But I use these clam spoons. I've been using them for a long time. I've got some other ones. I've got, I bet 20 Swedish pimples, this same pretty much size, still in the package, hanging in the shop, because the Swedish pimples work great. But there's only so much you need to do. Are you still using frozen shiners in the winter? Yep, I'm using frozen shiners on my jigging spoon and live chubs on my jig. Oh, there's fish around here now. 2 fish. He's going to come up and bite the other line. Come on, buddy. Seriously. Did I lose my train of thought here when the fish come in? Oh, man. Hey, Brandon. Morning to you. Yeah, I didn't. Oh, here comes a fish. It's a nice one, too. Come on up. He's coming for the other line. This is going to be good. Heck, I'm halfway to the bottom here. He come up and bit me. What? Got 2 of them going after the jigging spoon. There, he bit me. He bit me. He's there. Oh, he's not there. Come on. I can't even get to the bottom. Well, I got no baits left on this one, I don't think. He's on this one for sure. There we go. Well, I'd have thought these would be whoppers. But no. Wow. I'm surprised. I had 2 of these, 2 of them down there, and they were just going crazy on my baits. This is a 13-inch sauger. Bye, buddy. This minnow's still all right. No, it don't. Well, that was a sauger too. That was my first sauger. All right. Let's go down. I'll be up to Arneson's on Sunday. I would use, he wants to know what the difference is between the shiners and the chubs. Shiners are the favorite bait, the favorite thing of fish on Lake of the Woods. These emerald shiners, they're local bait. They're from here, and the fish just drool on them. And I would use them, except, like I said before, oh, that's got fouled. That's why they quit biting this one. Whoop. On this one already. This one, I guess they seems a little nicer, but I don't think so. Whoop. Got off just at the bottom of the hole again. Boy, that happens a lot. That minnow's still all right. I got this big, it's one of those big, it's a male. When you get a thing of chubs, you know, and the first ones that die are those big blacker ones. Well, that's what this is. I almost didn't grab it, but I've had 2 fish on the thing. And this line got fouled, or else I'd have probably caught one on that. So we're getting pretty busy here. The difference between shiners and chubs. Shiners are a better bait. Chubs are a more convenient bait. And heck, either one of them is fine. Shiners might be a little better, but it's close to 6 of one, half dozen of the other. If you had to use the best bait, then I'd say use a frozen shiner. Or if you find some live ones, use live ones, but they're all dead by the time you get there, and you don't need them to be alive. I like a minnow that swims around a little bit, kicks around a live minnow on my jig. I don't think that's 100% necessary most days either. Okay? Any trucks with single axles driving out yet? Not here. Not at Long Point. I'm sure it'll be after the first of the year. But that's not my call, but it usually is after the first of the year. There's trucks going out at Swift Ditch. There's trucks going out Zipple, light stuff, half tons or less, and over on Adrian's Road. So those are the ones that I know about, and there's probably a few more now. I would say check the websites of these, the Facebook pages first of all, before you go, or call, because like I said, everything I tell you now is old information by this afternoon. Provide you with live fatheads. Can you bring frozen shiner? You want to, but I have not found a big difference. That's right, Tony. That's what I say too. If I use 2 jigging spoons, or had a line that I would be jigging all the time, I just use the frozen shiners. And here's the other thing. And maybe the biggest, I use small hooks in the wintertime. Now I hook these shiners through the mouth, out the gill, through the back all summer. When you're using a bigger jig, you can do that with these little tiny jigs. There's no way. And you hook a minnow through the head once with a little jig. By the time you bounce it a couple times, that bait's probably going to be gone. 169 people out there. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Hope your Christmas was merry and good, and you're just chilling today. It's busy. It's busy. I got out earlier than ever. I was out in lines in the water at 8 this morning, and sat here for 15 minutes with nothing, but at 15 minutes we started catching. And heck, the fish have been going pretty good. Had a nice one almost right away. Time at 9:22, so we're 25 minutes into our live here. What color LED eye are you using? These flash all different colors. And people ask me, oh, what color is it? I don't think I have one that just flashes red. I don't think I have one that just flashes pink or white or whatever. They flash all different colors. Okay. A nice update from the angle heading up on the first. Well, Cyrus Resort has a place up at the angle. They're pretty good on Facebook, so you can check them out. Sunset Lodge would be another one to watch. Someone's got a webcam. I would think they're not too far off what we're off of. I think they're running snowmobiles and stuff up there now. But call the place where you're going would be the way to get the good information up there. The Northwest Angle isn't another planet. There are neighbors up here, but as far as me having any information on what's going on up there, I really wouldn't. But I know it's available online. Now 181 people out there. Good, thank you. And another fish coming. 2 more fish coming. Wow. It's going to happen first. They're both going to bite at the same time. They're on this one here. Ready? Here we go. Had all little ones here so far, but I tell you, they're not all little. That's for sure. In the course of my usual morning fish is from 8:30 to 11. All right, and wind up with 3 or 4. Get going, buddy. Get going. Come on. I kept 3 or 4 that I can keep. And you fish every day. You know, I have no way I can keep 6 fish every day anyway. We have to have a fish fry before I can keep any more. So as far as keepers go, they come, but there's every size of fish in here. The biggest one I've caught so far this year has been like 20. But I had a guy right next to me had a 27, and another guy right next to me had a 28. So they're around. And especially early like this, there's probably more of them around. All right. Are they driving on the ice? Michael, they're driving snowmobiles, ATVs, and side-by-sides here at Long Point, at Swift Ditch. I know I'm saying a lot of this stuff again, but people are popping in and asking. At Swift Ditch, they're driving trucks out. At the Zipple, they're driving light trucks out. I don't know if they're pulling anything. At Swift Ditch, they're pulling fish houses out. That ice gets pretty good pretty fast over there. What's going on? Okay, here we go. Got more fish coming in. One looks nice, but he's further away. Here we go again, huh? Are you on there? No. Come on over here, you bigger fish. At the Zipple, they're letting light trucks out. Ooh, that's a nice one. Come on, man. And on Adrian's, they started letting out some trucks earlier. So if you're going to go, I would tell you at Swift Ditch, you can drive up. If you want to know what you can pull out, call Zipple. If you want to know what they're doing, you can call Adrian's. They'll let you know. And all the other resorts around the area, they're in the same system. If one's letting trucks out, there's going to be not long till the other ones do. Had only one crack, but it seemed like it was a pretty good one. And the ice just didn't get thick after it healed over nice, but it's just not getting thick in there yet. So how much about the passenger service, the bomber trips to the angle? It was supposed to start today, not sure if they are able to or not. Well, they got that trail. Wow, there's a lot of, they got that trail marked all the way to the angle from over Wheeler's Point, from that end of the lake. So it can't be far behind. That runs out of Sportsman, doesn't it? I'd call them. They'll give you the whole deal. And that's a pretty nice service. Don't even know what it costs, but you can hop on at Sportsman's Lodge or wherever it is they load you up and take you up to the angle. And that way you don't have to take a snowmobile across if you don't want to go through Canada, which is it just whatever it costs. It's probably worth it if you're going to stay for a few days. Hope I'm keeping up here. I'd love to have that chair in the rental. This fish house is awesome. It's small. It's 5 by 7, which is kind of why I get this camera angle. But it's great. And I tip my hat and I say good job for everybody that's running rental houses on the lake. All right. It's a ton of work. I think they probably make a lot of money doing it, but it's a lot of work. You've got to have a lot of equipment. It's tough. The border view, nice. Oh yeah, border view is very nice. It leaves from the Sportsman. We're talking about the passenger thing again, yeah? Well, as far as running that passenger service up to the angle, yeah, if you want to get up there now and not go through Canada, you've got to have a snowmobile. You've got to, and the snowmobile is really the way to go. You can't be on that Grenade Trail with anything but a snowmobile. And so there you go. You've got to have a snowmobile. You've got to have all your stuff packed on the snowmobile, and it's a long trip up there. So to have them haul you up with all your stuff, yeah, it's a great service to have. I don't know how busy they are, but I hope they're busy. Lake of the Woods is the most ice fishing friendly ice destination there is. I can't imagine how anyone could do any more Explain why you bleed the fish. Okay, I'll do that. I just lost another bait. If I jump around a little bit, it's when I get back to bait here for a second. My chubs, they're alive, so they stay alive. They stay fresh. I keep the water cool. It's fine. When I go in now, I just dump them back in my water in my shop, and then tomorrow when I'm coming out, I put them in fresh water and off I go again. When you use live bait in the wintertime, you remember this, and you come back to shore, you got to take your bait out of the water that's been on the lake. Trying to make this as simple as I can, but so you don't take the water from Lake of the Woods. You're going to fish here in the morning and Red Lake in the afternoon. When you get out, you dump the water out of your minnows, dump the water out of your leeches, which you probably aren't going to use in wintertime. Well, I just lost another bait, I think. So live bait can be a little bit of a issue to use. But with the shiner minnows, you don't have to worry about any of that. That's one of the good things about that. But you want to use live bait, and I'm lucky I don't go anywhere. As soon as I get back to shore, I'm home. So I don't have to worry about that. But you take the bait out of the water that was on the lake and dump the water that you took out and put it in different for the next day. That goes back to invasive species. That fish is right back again. When you catch a fish you're going to keep, I use this scissors and snip under their gills and throw them in the bucket with some water. Then the fish bleed out. When you clean the fish after you do that, the fillet is white, beautiful. All the blood runs out of the fish into your bucket, and it's a much nicer product. If you ever took a bite of a fish that's suddenly pretty fishy, a lot of that has to do with the blood that was left in the meat. So I bleed all the keepers that we're going to have, and then when I clean them up, it's very nice. I started doing that. I'd known about it for a while, but a couple of years ago, I decided not to be lazy, and I started doing it, and I haven't gone back. It's a very good thing to do, I think. What's your name? I'm Kurt. Yeah. Favorite way to cook walleye? You know, with everything said and done, we eat walleye a lot of different ways. But as far as the favorite is, you take the fillet and you dip it, put it in flour or breading of some kind, and pan fry it. Mostly because that seems like that's about the easiest way to do it. Okay. And it's very good that way. Deep frying is probably the most delicious. But then we eat a lot of deep fried foods anyway. I don't think I need to eat deep fried walleye, but we eat it steamed. We eat it in chowder. We eat it in, my wife grinds up the patties, grinds up the meat into patties. We had fish burgers last night, and that's really good. Fish balls, you can make them just like little meatballs. They're great for appetizers. There's a lot of ways, but as far as the favorite, I like it simple, pan fried with some batter on it, all right? Tony Holland, I try to clip my fish, club my fish over the head before I can't disagree with that. I'm going to catch one here. Come on, man. This is another, well, seem like they're going to be giants, and then they're little. Because it's a walleye again. I'll try to keep my train of thought here. This minnow is still okay. Bonking them on the head, the idea behind that is you dispatch them so that they don't suffer while they bleed out. Well, I've had cut a fish's throat and had them swim around in the live well for heck 2 hours afterwards. So I don't know. Fishing isn't fun for the fish. If you think that clubbing them on the head saves them from something, then more power to you. Because I don't hunt deer anymore or hunt anything anymore. I got 2 kitty cats, and I realize that animals are human beings, but then look how we treat fish. Favorite place to have dinner when up there? You know, it's like there's 5-star dining all over up here. There's 30 resorts that have great food. All right. So I don't know. My favorites are the closest ones. I like Zipple Bay. They're 10 miles from my house. It doesn't take long to get there. It's a nice, quiet little dining room and bar, so that's good. I like River Bend. They've got exceptional food there. Border View, Sportsman's Lodge. This is the gourmet style stuff that you can get. And one thing that I'm going to say everyone does, or just about everyone does, when you catch your fish during the day, you can bring your fish in cleaned into just about all these resorts, and they'll cook them for you. They'll cook the fish for you, and they'll give you make a dinner out of it. They'll give you French fries or a salad and potato and everything, and they'll do that for you so you can fish one day, eat your fish, and then go out the next day. So I don't know where they get all the great cooks that they have, but they really do another nice job. Again, it's this a nice fisherman-friendly atmosphere on Lake of the Woods. The dining is outstanding. All right, the biggest walleye I ever caught was a year ago, July 2nd, at a time when I'm usually whining and crying how fishing has changed, and I got 10 days where I really don't catch anything. I caught a 32.5-inch fish, a walleye about 3 miles straight onto the lake from Long Point. Then this year, in July, same basic area, caught a 31.25. One of my customers caught a 31.5, and another one caught a 31 within 5 days of each other. So suddenly, that early July, which was kryptonite for me, turns into be a great big fish time. So 32.5. That's the biggest I've ever caught. That's the biggest I've ever seen in person. There are 34s that come out of here, I would say, fairly regularly. Every couple of years you hear about them. I've never seen any of those. And you know how fishermen are big liars, right? But I would love to catch a 34. I think that would be fine. But as soon as I caught a 34, then 1,000 people on Facebook would tell me they caught some 35s. A lot of 35s. Slowing down on the catching. July 2nd is my wife's birthday. Great day. Yes, Brad, it was a great day for me too. Oh yeah. Hey, Emmett. I think I probably saw you catch that fish, didn't I? Emmett got a 23-incher. I think he was like right next to me last summer. And he was close by when we caught those big fish. Those lighted jigs. All right, I'll probably say this a couple of times too. You want these blinking light lures. B-N-E. It's the letter N in between. B and letter N and E. Tackle.com. Go there. He's got them. He sells them all rigged up. You get the light. You get something underneath it. I'm not sure what it is. Whether it's just a treble. And just a treble hook underneath these things works really good. But he rigs them, and you can get them on his website. He's got a lot of things with lights in them. But I know him, and I've used his. They're fine. Now, the other thing you can do is you can go on Amazon and search blinking light lures. That's all I've got to do. And you're going to find one set that is, you get 20 blinking light lures for $26. But you just get the blinking light. That's all you get. It's got the split rings on both ends, I think. And you time yourself. You want to put a jig on there, it's fine. You want to put a little dropper and a treble hook. You can do that. You can time yourself, or you can buy them that way. And the other, and I don't know where these come from, those dirty bomb lures. All right, that's the same thing. It's just the blinking light lure with a treble hook right underneath it. And evidently that works good too. We got 193 people. Hey, thank you very much. Good, Emmett. I look forward to it. Yeah, Amazon's the easiest place to get them. This B&E Tackle does a nice job. I was, their website kind of fooled me for a while, but it's I hung in there because if I know that they're in here, I got to find them. Emmett says he caught a bullhead with his blinking light lure. I think blinking light lures catch everything. I think the blinking light lure works better in deeper water, dirty water that's not so clear. If you're really in shallow water with clear water, I think that it's too bright. The blinking light maybe doesn't matter. When you get down 27 feet here in Lake of the Woods, I think that it's pretty darn dark down there. Now, here's the other thing. The truth of the whole matter is I don't know if a blinking light lure attracts a fish or not. What would make them, ooh, a blinking light? I better go check that out. But evidently they do. This blinking light lure, my buddy Mark, his wife, started using them last winter. And she always catches the most fish. Lene always catches the most fish. So she was catching, Mark was on. So he put a blinking light lure on, and he was catching, she was catching. They said, hey, Kurt, we're using these blinking light lures. And I said, I've got one. I got them from B&E Tackle. I'll put one on. So I put them on, and we kept them on all winter. Then in the spring, I said, well, you know, they worked all winter. I'm going to leave them on in the summertime because we fish deep in the summer and it's dark down there. So we used them all summer. But say by August into September, after you get bit off by a couple of northerns, I don't tie rigs in the boat too often. So I switched and I wound up not using blinking lights, just regular jigs. And we kept catching. So it's not the only way to catch a fish. But because of that, and I don't know that I'd heard much about those blinking light lures, they're hard to find. Bait shops that had them sold them out right away and tried to get them more. So everyone's looking for them. And there's only a few places you can get them. So it's kind of a frenzy that started happening when you started using these things. Oh, that was pretty cool. Tree Trestle in Hayward, Wisconsin. They used the blinking lights there too. Nick says he could see his blinking 22 feet down on Mille Lacs last weekend. Mille Lacs is nice and clear water. So you can see down there. You can't see 4 feet down here. Now, we had the cleaner water to start with, but one day last week I noticed it was a little bit cloudy. And that's not the favorite thing to have happen, but it's not cloudy, so you'd have to worry too much about it. They work out of Lake Michigan for salmon and trout also. You know, for salmon and trout, they use big, and I mentioned this B&E Tackle. They've got some of those big flasher boards with the lights in them, and I think that's what they use for salmon. This guy at B&E Tackle, he's a local. I didn't understand why he had all that Great Lake stuff on his website. My idea was to show you the Mega Live here more and more, but I haven't been seeing a lot in here, and I've got to try to read what's going on here. So anyway, thank you all for being here today, and again, Merry Christmas. Seems kind of weird, my radio background's going to tell you. My name is Kurt Quinnell. I guide in the summertime on Lake of the Woods. Part-time these days, but I'm still guiding all summer. And last year I quit winter guiding. Again, because these guys really work hard. You've got to have so much specialized equipment, and you've got to be able to get out and do it when it's 35 below zero, and I didn't want to do that anymore at all. It's 35 below zero. I stay in the house. If it's cold and I decide to go out, it's just me I'm sending out there. And I can call a buddy and be inconvenienced all day without any problem. If I got someone giving me money and we stand outside next to a froze up fish house all day with nothing going on, I'd feel pretty bad about that. Emmett, can't wait to get out into the tin can. That's my fish house. They call it the beer can. They call it's aluminum. It's silver aluminum. I would go outside and show it to you, but I think maybe you've seen it. And if I touch that phone, it's going to fall out of the holder and go right down the hole. And I don't want Christmas to end that way. Andrew Colby Photography says, where are you fishing? Fishing Lake of the Woods out of Long Point Resort and the Long Point area. We're actually south and east of the resort, but it's a real nice area. I'm lucky enough that I fish where the locals all fish. We're kind of a ways away from where the resort is. But if I know I talked about this earlier, but it's some really good news. Long Point Resort, when they got out, they, instead of coming straight out of the resort like they would normally start, heck, they went west. There was some really rough ice over there. They took some time and got through the rough ice and made a real nice trail and put a bunch of houses over there. They're almost over to Twin Islands, almost. So they're that way, and that's a really good area, and that's an area that doesn't usually get fished until way later in the season. Come on, buddy, bite it. Fish come right up on your bait. So Long Point Resort rental houses right now have got to be as good as you can find and get. And no one's driving trucks out of here yet, but if you got a Ranger, if you got an ATV, or if you got a snowmobile, you're good. And if you don't, they haul you out to the houses. You walk in their house, it's the heat is on, the bait's there. They give you the skinny on what works in the house and how you do things, and then you're fishing. Close to Twin Islands. Yeah, I'm not far from Twin Islands. That's where Long Point houses are now. What's your favorite fish to catch on Lake of the Woods? Well, it's absolutely my favorite fish everywhere would be walleyes and saugers. Probably second would be crappies. If you get in some nice big crappies, I guess I'd like that. Oh, Andrew Colby Photography's out on Mille Lacs right now. Well, good for you. Say we're fishing. Whoop, there's one up there. There's a fish up off the bottom. Turn around, buddy. We get sturgeon coming through here quite a bit. And I've got one on the screen right now. And I don't need to catch a sturgeon anymore. I'm going to keep dangling stuff from. Maybe it's a big walleye, but we're going to find out. So it's busy the day after Christmas. I didn't fish yesterday or Christmas Eve. I didn't think there'd be anybody out here, but I've got friends that were out fishing Christmas Day, and they were doing all right. So I thought, well, I'm gonna take a couple days off. First day out was the 14th, so between the 14th and the 23rd, that's 10 days, and we fished 9 of those 10 days. So I was ready for a break anyway. That sturgeon is swimming around. Let me see if I can. There he is. He's kind of off the screen right now. But he came through and made a big circle and went around this and came over again. He's still there. You can see him in the background, but he's a ways off. Okay, well. Oop. Here's a fish. Can you see all this? Yeah, I think you can. Good. All right, well, the first time I saw a video of someone using the Helix. Come on, buddy, stay up there now. So You wonder if these big fish chase the little ones away? I don't think so, but I've got a sturgeon here steady. Probably the same fish just cruising around. I'm going to get you back. This is crazy here. Look at that guy. Here's my jig. So the sturgeon mostly don't care about them. You're not going to see a sturgeon slash. Just use their vacuum cleaner mouths and suck the jig in, because you catch a lot of them in the mouth. But if a guy didn't follow the rules, I don't think they'd be real hard to snag when they're coming by. See, I've got another fish down there coming up on my baits. That's not big, but it's 30 degrees this morning. How about that? Okay, well, that's what's going on there. Do I enjoy catching northerns? Northerns flip around way too much for me. They're a nice fish to catch. They bite you off all the time. They tangle all your lines together, but it's still a nice, good, active fish to catch. There's a slot here on Lake of the Woods from 30 to 40-inch northerns have to go back right away. So a 29-inch northern, by the way, is a pretty darn good fish. If I get a 29-incher, I'll probably keep it because they're good to pickle. You pickle, all the bones are gone, and they've got bones. Did I mention that? They're full of bones. But the meat is good. If you know how to clean them, heck, yeah, pike are fine. I think I've missed some things. I was 2 miles out in the main lake last weekend, half-ton single axle on Mille Lacs. Lost the sound. Oh my God. Well, Wayne, I hope that it's maybe just you that lost the sound, because I have no idea. What could be. Well, I guess I'm hoping we have sound now. Out of Swift Ditch, I'm sure they're out a couple of miles. You can drive out a couple of miles there with a truck. Hey, Wally. Merry Christmas. Come on up. I'll catch this fish for you, man. It's 10 to 10. We'll go till 10. How's that? I don't know how long you're supposed to go on these lives. I got fish on both lures again. But neither one of them. Whoop. Huh. Sound is good. Okay. Thank you. Here we go. Look at that. Well, good. He got off. These fish that come up and slash at you, come up and get. Well, you'd be surprised how many of those get away. Ooh, he's coming up on this one. Come on, man. There we go. Here's a little better fish. Come on, buddy. It's a fat, nice, fat sauger. And I'm going to measure him. He is, well, 14 3/4, almost a 15-inch sauger. And that keeps, I need, well, all right, snippers right here. Right here is where you want to snip, right between the gills there. And then throw them in some water, and your bucket doesn't get too nasty. Well, that's not the one I was trying to catch. I keep saugers that are, well, over 14 inches. And hey, on a tough day and I needed fish, yeah, I've kept 13.5-inch sauger. But basically it's 14-inch saugers, 15-inch walleyes. If a guy kept the smaller saugers or walleyes, it's not bad to do it. It doesn't hurt the lake, doesn't hurt anything. But most days, heck, you could be done in half an hour. Then you're done, and all you've got is these little fish in the bucket. So summer and winter, like I said, I can't keep that many fish every day anyway. So yeah, that sauger was almost 15 inches. Here's another one down there. It's gonna come right up. Come on, buddy. Oh man, come on. Gotta check this other bait by here. Well, yeah, for my first YouTube live, I guess this is going all right. How do you pick where you set up your house? That's a great question. I fish with the locals. The guys have been fishing here all their lives. So we come offshore and you walk with a spud bar the first time or a chainsaw, you know, and get your depths as you're going. And when you get out to 20 feet, you can start fishing. And it's just straight off the shore. It doesn't matter where it is out here. As long as it's 20 feet to 24 feet, then you can start fishing. And the fish are everywhere. Fish are everywhere out here. And so as soon as you can get out to 27 feet, or better yet, 30 feet, you just go straight out. There's little reefs all over out here at Long Point. And this isn't the only place you can do that, because I know they do the same thing over Pine, where all the other guys have their fish houses, all right? You just get out there. The fish are there. They're everywhere. They're not everywhere, but they're everywhere. You know what I mean? As soon as you get to the depth of water here at Long Point, you're not far from where fish are going to be. So we've set up shallower when we couldn't get out this far, but we got out to 27 feet heck last week, probably last Thursday or Friday. I moved the house out here, and I'll sit here now until fishing slows down, and that may not be for a while, because I can get out deeper already. I can get out to 30 feet. I can get out deeper than that, but wow, this is not bad either. Got just at the bottom of the hole. That happened to you a lot? That happens to me a lot. So to finish the question, how do I pick where I set up? We set up in the same spots every year. First ice is one spot. They're marked on my GPS, but you don't have to be right on the same mark. It's the same area. And you can go from Twin Islands all the way down to heck Zipple Bay, and it's the same thing. It's an amazing fishery. There's not just little area where there's fish here, little area where there's fish here. Seriously, there's fish everywhere. That was not a bad fish. And the fish aren't even in the hole yet. As soon as they get to the bottom of the hole, they let go. I get a lot of them in the summertime that, you know, let go as soon as they see the boat, they open their mouth, they get off. And that one came up, was real aggressive and slashed at the bait. Now, I'm not down there when it happens, but look, this is what I think happens. They come and they grab that bait, got it in their mouth, but they're just jamming it's not stuck in their mouth. The jig is just in their mouth. They've got their mouth closed. You set the hook and that jig doesn't move because they're hanging onto it so much. So they get up, as soon as they get to the hole, they see what's going on, open their mouth, jig pops up. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in here. 170. So I'm interested, how did you find out? Did it just pop up as a YouTube live going on? Is that right? Because I see them once in a while too, done by other people. That's why I decided to do it. So I was wondering how people would find out that there's a YouTube live going on. Do I prefer ice fishing or summer fishing? Well, if it wasn't for the wind, and I realize it's important, summer fishing would be perfect. I love summer fishing. He's there. I love summer fishing a lot more than ice fishing. Probably because I'm not very good at this stupid ice fishing. Another fish got off right away. I got another one of those big male black chub minnows. I'm sure that's why. The thing I like best about ice fishing, well, you got to do something in the wintertime, so you might as well ice fish, right? But the wind doesn't bother me. I'm in the fish house. I wouldn't fish outside. Wow, there's a lot of fish here. It's like 1 minute to 10. Maybe this will be a nicer fish. Maybe I can get it in. We'll go just a little bit longer. If you have any more questions, I'm subscribed to you. Contact YouTube page so it comes up. Okay, good. Popped up on YouTube that you're live. I was scrolling through YouTube live and there you were. All right. Because I've done Facebook lives before. But then I saw a YouTube live the other day and I said, well, that looks fun. I'll try that. It's worked out fine, I think. Yeah, I tried a couple of days ago, the 23rd. I went on just to try one and see, and said I'd be back here today. So, don't know if it comes up on the Facebook or not. Maybe I can link it to that later on. But anyway, this is a fairly normal day. I've been a little bit distracted doing the live at the same time. Yeah, and no bugs either. But the wind, I love summer fishing way better. But wind, I hate it the most. And it's important. You got to have wind. That's what keeps everything going. So I understand, but to be out there is terrible. In the wintertime, you got no wind and you got no bugs. But you get 30 below zero, and that can be an issue. So any of you watching that haven't already done that, subscribe to the Kurt Quinnell YouTube channel. I've got, I did 56 videos this year. That seems like a lot. It seems like a lot of videos. But they're there, and I've got spring and summer and fall and winter fishing videos. And if you want to just watch ice fishing videos, there's a section for ice fishing videos. So there's a lot going on, and you can see how fishing is on Lake of the Woods every single time of the year, and it's great. All right, it's a wonderful place to fish. So before I have greetings from Wisconsin, thanks, Ben. If you've heard of Keep It Clean, well, the world has gone crazy ice fishing. There's 100 times more ice fishermen than there were 10 years ago. All right, and all those people are coming out, and they've got fish houses. They stay out in the lake for 3 days. They've got hubs. They stay out in the lake for 3 days. They set up camp, and that's great, and that's wonderful all along. But, you know, some people don't clean up after themselves. Well, now in Minnesota, it's kind of littering has always been a deal, but it's spelled out pretty good in the law. You can't leave anything on the ice at all. So if you've been out for a few days, pick up your stuff, police the area, walk around once, just pick up your stuff before you go. It's easy. It doesn't take more than a couple of minutes to do it. And we're thinking that if people just are reminded of it, then that will solve most of the problem. You get some guys leaving a huge mess behind. Well, you get people coming along, they'll be taking pictures of that. It'll be online in no time. And they'll say, geez, look what pigs ice fishermen are. You don't want that. So keep it clean. Pick up your stuff when you leave at the end of your day, at the end of your trip, or whatever. Take those 2x4s out that you held your house up off the ice with. Chisel them out. Don't leave them behind. When you leave, it should just be the snow piled up from the holes in the banking. That's all you should leave behind. And that's called Keep It Clean. It's not only on Lake of the Woods, it's all over Minnesota, and it's going to be all over the ice belt before long, I'm sure. So anyway, 10:03. Thank you very much for being here, all 175 of you. I hope I got to your question. Well, if you see Trash Mothers try to grab that too. Well, absolutely. If the people who stop and take pictures of the mess, I hope they're picking it up. But I could talk for an hour about, about my thoughts on this and how to solve the problem. But police after yourself. If you see something, do something. How about that? Good way to finish it up. From Lake of the Woods, I'm Kurt Quinnell. Thank y'all for being here, and hopefully I'll see you out here somewhere soon on the ice. Keep it clean. Thanks. Oh.
Hi.
Hi. Hang on a sec. There we go.